Breaking news and a big loss in court for Team Delulu. Literally minutes ago, Judge Lyman in New York ruled on the Wayfarer party's request to squash subpoenas, and they got a big win.
Breaking news, Justin Baldoni just got a big win, meaning Blake Lively got a big loss.
Blake Lively, once the internet's golden girl, just watched her and Ryan Reynolds' carefully curated Hollywood image take a brutal hit. And all because Justin Baldoni walked away victorious from a court battle that exposed a side of Blake no one saw coming. Instead of gaining sympathy, her attempt to sway public opinion completely imploded, leaving her reputation in shambles. Now, with the truth laid bare, the power couple is under an unforgiving spotlight. And this time, there's no charming their way out of it.
They got a big win, not a unilateral win, because the goddess of gaslighting did score a narrow victory as well. Hair care professional wanted all of this information for an over 2-year period. Judge Lyman continues, including but not limited to call logs, text logs, data logs, and cell site information. On February 14th, the Wayfarer parties moved to squash the subpoenas as overly broad and invasive.
This isn't just a misunderstanding or an unfortunate career blip. Blake got caught in an outright power grab, trying to steamroll an entire film production like she was Hollywood royalty with unchecked authority. What started as a passion project for director Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios turned into an all-out war behind the scenes, thanks to Blake's relentless push to seize control. She pulled every trick in the book: backdoor negotiations, pressure tactics, and outright interference, all in a desperate bid to dictate the film's direction. But now, in a jaw-dropping twist, the very maneuvers she used to push Baldoni out are the same ones that have left her cornered in court. With the legal battle exposing the inner workings of her hostile takeover, the consequences are explosive, and Hollywood is eating up every second of it. From the very start, Blake Lively wasn't satisfied with just being the lead actress. She wanted complete control. Armed with nothing more than a vanity title as an executive producer, she bulldozed her way into major creative decisions, sending the entire production into chaos. It wasn't just minor input here and there. She hijacked key aspects of the film. Reports say she tore through the script with her own rewrites, dictated costume designs, and even clashed with the editor, creating an atmosphere so tense it threatened to derail the project entirely. But Lively wasn't done yet. She took things to a whole new level by handpicking her own behind-the-scenes crew, a composer, a wardrobe designer, and an editor, all brought in to replace the seasoned professionals Baldoni had originally hired. This wasn't an actress giving creative suggestions. It was a full-scale, hostile takeover. The studio was left stunned, scrambling to regain control while she called the shots like she owned the entire production. Then came her career-ruining mistake, one so reckless it left industry insiders speechless. While the film was still deep in the editing process, Blake decided to screen an unapproved rough cut at a literary event.
Congratulations. The movie was amazing.
Thank you.
There were tears in the audience.
Amazing.
Heard there were even tears on set. And Colleen, this story is so personal to you. Tell me why Blake and Brandon were the ones.
A move that blindsided Wayfarer Studios. Not only was this a massive breach of protocol, but it directly defied the studio's explicit orders. This wasn't just bold, it was a flagrant violation of industry standards. And the fallout? It shattered her standing in Hollywood, leaving her in a mess even her A-list connections might not fix. Hollywood studios guard early film versions like a fortress, especially when dealing with a project of this scale. But Blake Lively? She ignored every rule in the book. By bypassing the formal approval process, she didn't just step on a few toes. She sabotaged the studio's entire distribution strategy, setting off a chain reaction that left industry insiders reeling. And just like that, she handed Baldoni the ultimate legal weapon. With undeniable proof of her reckless moves, he had everything he needed to turn the tide against her in court. But Lively wasn't about to go down without a fight. Instead of damage control, she doubled down, launching a full-scale attack that pushed this drama into scandalous territory.
But also, you guys, Colleen Hoover just reactivated her Instagram account, and she has apparently deleted all of the photos with Blake Lively. And Ryan Reynolds' school teacher has just reached out to me. Plus, there has been movement in their court case. She asked him herself. Initially, he was just getting involved with this project because of the book, but then she asked him herself to play Ryle in the movie. And things were great until Blake Lively, right? We actually had, and I think we're still trying to pull it in, this old clip of her discussing how amazing Justin Baldoni was, because he didn't just want to take on this book project, but it was important for him to understand the readers and the fans of the book, what it was that they adored about these characters, because he didn't want to disappoint them when he brought this to life. Chris, were we able to pull that in? We can show it later if not.
Allegedly, she went straight to the New York Times, leaking damaging insider details. An obvious move to smear Baldoni's name and paint herself as the real victim. And the timing? Absolutely calculated. The bombshell article, which painted Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios in the worst possible light, conveniently dropped right when the lawsuit was heating up. Hollywood whispers suggest Lively's camp orchestrated the entire leak, hoping to sway public opinion before things got worse in court. But instead of winning sympathy, her plan blew up in her face. When it was time to face the judge, Lively found zero support. Every major legal maneuver she attempted, shut down. First, she desperately sought a gag order to silence Baldoni's powerhouse attorney, Brian Friedman, from speaking publicly about the case. But the judge didn't even entertain it. Her request was tossed out, leaving Friedman free to dismantle her narrative piece by piece, right out in the open for everyone to see. Blake Lively wasn't just losing, she was unraveling. Desperate to dodge the legal firestorm, she tried to avoid a deposition altogether, hoping to sidestep direct questioning from Baldoni's legal team. But the judge? Not having it. Her request was flat out denied, forcing her to sit for deposition, an event that could expose even more damning evidence about her relentless push to control the production. And the blows kept coming. If being forced to testify wasn't bad enough, the judge shut down any attempt to limit Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman. That meant Friedman had free rein to tear apart Lively's claims, out in the open, for the whole world to see. Her PR strategy, which once allowed her to control the narrative, was now in shambles. Suddenly, she wasn't the one calling the shots anymore. And the fallout? Hollywood has taken notice. Studios aren't just wary, they're downright hesitant to work with her now. The lawsuit alone was bad, but her erratic handling of "It Ends With Us" has sent shockwaves through the industry. No studio wants to sink millions into a project only to watch their lead actress stage a full-scale coup and throw the production into chaos. But here's where it gets even messier. Ryan Reynolds is now tangled up in the scandal, and his golden boy image is cracking. Insiders claim Reynolds wasn't just a bystander. He was allegedly backing Lively's takeover from behind the scenes. Some speculate this was a power move, an attempt to lay the groundwork for a sequel that would give them even more influence over the franchise. But now, his name is being dragged into the controversy, and Hollywood is starting to question whether his once untouchable reputation is at risk. Oh, you can't ignore the details of that gag order fiasco, because it's at the very heart of Justin Baldoni's legal triumph. Blake Lively marched into this courtroom battle thinking she could steer the narrative in her favor. Instead, she's been hit with one humiliating defeat after another. Every desperate attempt to silence Baldoni's lawyer, dodge tough questions, and spin public perception has completely backfired, leaving her scrambling to save face. Her latest move? A last-ditch gag order to shut down Brian Friedman, Baldoni's relentless attorney. And let's be clear, this wasn't just about containing courtroom chatter. This was a full-scale attempt to bury the truth, stopping Baldoni's camp from exposing the chaotic and underhanded tactics Lively used to wrestle control of It Ends With Us. The motion, filed in early February, argued that Friedman's public statements were causing irreparable harm to Lively's already crumbling reputation. But did the judge buy it? Not for a second. On February 19, 2025, the court flat out rejected her request. And that means Friedman is free to talk, loudly, openly, and without restrictions. And if you've been following this case, you know that's bad news for Lively. Friedman doesn't hold back. He's already called out Lively's accusations as strategic and dishonest. And now, he has the court's blessing to keep tearing her case apart. But Lively's legal nightmare doesn't stop there. She also tried to dodge the hot seat, attempting to weasel out of a sworn deposition. On February 15th, 2025, her legal team argued that she shouldn't have to face Baldoni's attorneys directly.
For those who are not in the Hollywood world, what is wrong with her taking over the film?
I've never seen it before in my 30-plus year career in Hollywood. And an executive producer is below a producer in the film world. An executive producer signed up to be an executive producer, and that's it. As the time progressed in this film, she decided that she wanted to be a producer. She started to make edits. She wanted to be part of the editing team. There were people hired, like human beings actually hired to do the editing job, who had done work as editors. She wanted to be part of that team. The next thing you know, she took over the editing. She started making threats that she wouldn't promote the movie, that she wanted to be in control of marketing of the movie, that she would do nothing in terms of promotion unless she was the actual editor.
A clear attempt to avoid being grilled under oath. And the court's response? They shut her down. Again. Lively's legal team scrambled to keep her out of direct questioning, claiming she had already sufficiently presented her case in court filings. They argued that forcing her into a personal deposition would be unnecessarily invasive due to her high-profile status. But the judge didn't buy it for a second. The court saw right through the excuse and shut down her attempt to dodge questioning. The ruling was crystal clear. Blake must sit for deposition and answer under oath for every manipulative move she made during the film's production. And that's a massive blow. Now, every underhanded decision, from secretly rewriting scenes, to sidelining Baldoni's team, to leaking details to the press, to attempting to control Wayfarer Studios, is about to be picked apart in brutal detail. There's no PR spin that can save her now, but just when things couldn't get worse, they did. Lively's team didn't just lose their fight to block her deposition. The court also denied her request to limit what Baldoni's lawyer could reveal to the public. That means Brian Friedman now has full legal freedom to speak openly about the lawsuit. And if you've seen Friedman in action, that spells absolute disaster for Lively. Friedman has already ripped into her credibility, publicly calling out her hypocrisy. He's made it clear. Lively herself leaked confidential documents to the New York Times, yet now she wants to restrict access to key evidence that exposes her own tactics? The contradiction is glaring, and Hollywood is taking notice. Industry insiders aren't just watching, they're speaking out. Behind the scenes, studio executives are deeply concerned about Lively's pattern of manipulation, not just in production, but now in the courtroom. This isn't just a messy lawsuit anymore. It's a full-blown Hollywood scandal. Hollywood executives aren't fooled by Lively's tactics, especially after her bold attempt to rewrite the movie's entire storyline behind the scenes. The industry has been watching closely. And now, they're backing away. A major Hollywood insider revealed to Variety on February 22, 2025, that Lively's courtroom losses have sent shockwaves through the industry. Studio heads are now seriously reconsidering whether she's worth the risk. With her erratic legal maneuvers and blatant disregard for industry norms, no one wants to bet millions on a star who might hijack a production, or worse, drag it into legal chaos. And it gets even uglier. On February 25th, 2025, a legal analyst told The Hollywood Reporter that this isn't just a bad lawsuit, it's career suicide. According to the expert, Blake is fighting a battle she can't win. Every legal move she makes backfires spectacularly, and the industry is watching her self-destruction unfold in real time. And now, the worst is yet to come. With her deposition locked in, Friedman unleashed, and zero legal shields left, the next few months could annihilate Lively's Hollywood future. The illusion of control shattered. The truth? About to hit like a freight train. And Hollywood isn't waiting to see if she can claw her way back. After months of public backlash, brutal legal missteps, and mounting industry skepticism, she's rapidly becoming one of the most toxic names in show business. The question isn't if her career will recover, it's whether there's anything left to salvage at all. Blake Lively's downfall wasn't just an unfortunate twist of fate, it was a series of power-hungry missteps that spiraled into complete disaster. And now, the industry is backing away fast. The damage might be permanent. Lively's PR nightmare started brewing in early 2024, but by January 2025, it had reached a critical breaking point. The first cracks appeared when fans turned against her for her tone-deaf approach to "It ends with us." The backlash? Brutal. Viewers slammed both her performance and the film's marketing, arguing that they stripped away the story's emotional depth and trivialized its heavy themes. Then came the disaster that sealed her fate. On January 14th, 2025, the film's infamous romanticized trailer dropped, and fans went nuclear.
Well, Blake No Teeth Lively has experienced yet another court loss. So she wanted to amend her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, right? The judge said, okay, cool, you have until Valentine's Day, February 14th. And now Blake Lively was like, oh, hold on, wait a minute, we're not ready to present yet. And she was asking for an extension until March 5th. And then the judge said, okay, why? And she's like, duh, because I'm Khaleesi and I said so. And then the judge was like, LOL, yeah, no, I'll give you until Monday. I'll give you a couple extra days. You have until Monday, but you don't have until March 5th. And so now she has until this upcoming Monday, which is February 17th, to figure out what she's going to amend in her complaint. And initially there were rumors that the amendment was going to come with some sort of statement from Jenny Slate, who played Justin Baldoni's sister in It Ends With Us. And so people were assuming that maybe Jenny was going to be some sort of star witness, that this was going to be the smoking gun. Maybe she had something that she witnessed that she was going to bring to the table, right?
They ripped it apart, calling it tone deaf, a shameless misrepresentation of the book's powerful message. The criticism got so bad that Sony had to step in, editing and re-releasing the trailer just a week later in a desperate attempt at damage control. But by then, the damage was done. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, her legal battles sent everything into a tailspin. The moment Justin Baldoni fired back in court, accusing her of hijacking the film's production, people started questioning everything. Had Lively sabotaged the project from the very beginning? Then, on February 10th, 2025, Variety dropped a bombshell. Leaked emails exposed Lively's behind-the-scenes power plays. She had personally demanded script rewrites, fired key editors, and even brought in her own composer, all without studio approval. And it wasn't just fans turning on her. Industry insiders started speaking out. A Sony executive who worked on the film didn't hold back, revealing that Lively's ego derailed the entire project. They claimed she meddled non-stop, taking what should have been an emotionally powerful film and turning it into a full-blown marketing disaster. Now, with Hollywood insiders pulling away and her reputation in free fall, the question remains: is Blake Lively's career officially unsalvageable? Blake Lively's legal team pulled one last desperate move. They tried to silence Baldoni's lawyer with a gag order, hoping to lock down the media narrative before things spiraled further. But the court? They shot it down instantly. The ruling gave Baldoni's legal team free rein to keep exposing Lively's behind-the-scenes power plays, and Hollywood? They were taking notes. Now, industry insiders are calling this one of the most catastrophic career implosions in recent memory. Just a year ago, Lively was a guaranteed box office draw. Now, studios don't trust her. A Warner Brothers producer, speaking anonymously to Deadline on February 25, 2025, confirmed that the studio had quietly put a future project with Lively on hold, all because of the legal mess surrounding her name. And it wasn't just Warner Brothers backing away. A Netflix insider admitted that the streaming giant had been considering Lively for a lead role in an upcoming thriller. But the second the Baldoni lawsuit went public, they scrapped the idea entirely. And then there's the elephant in the room, her next film. Lively has a major release set for summer 2025, and suddenly, it's being viewed as the ultimate test of her star power. If the movie flops, it could be the final nail in her Hollywood coffin. A senior film critic at Variety put it bluntly in an article published on February 27, 2025. Hollywood is watching this box office performance very closely. If audiences turn their backs on Blake Lively, her career might not recover. And just when you think things can't get any messier, enter Ryan Reynolds. Lively's husband of over a decade is now being dragged into the controversy, and not in a good way. Some fans have started whispering about jealousy, speculating that Reynolds wasn't thrilled about a dance scene between Lively and Baldoni in It Ends With Us. While it may sound like harmless gossip, in the midst of Lively's PR disaster, even the smallest rumors can snowball into full-blown scandals. With Hollywood turning its back, her legal troubles mounting, and now personal drama creeping into the mix, the stakes couldn't be higher. Is Blake Lively about to lose everything? Ryan Reynolds loves playing the charming, easygoing husband on social media, but behind the scenes, some fans aren't buying it. In fact, they're convinced he's the real mastermind behind the legal chaos engulfing Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. The theory? Reynolds saw something he didn't like, and instead of handling it privately, he went nuclear. Allegedly, he started pulling strings to take down Baldoni's career. And what triggered it all? A single dance scene. It Ends With Us features a slow, intimate dance between Lively's character, Lily, and Baldoni's Ryle, a moment that plays a pivotal role in their on-screen love story. At first, no one thought twice about it, until fans noticed something eerie. The scene felt strangely familiar. And when eagle-eyed moviegoers went back to compare, they realized it wasn't just similar. It was almost identical to a scene that changed Hollywood history. The infamous dance from Green Lantern, where Lively and Reynolds first fell for each other back in 2010. Same choreography, same framing. Even the lighting was nearly identical. Coincidence? Fans don't think so. By early February, Twitter, now X, and Reddit were buzzing with speculation. Users debated whether Reynolds had seen the scene and lost it. Some even suggested he was fine with Lively's steamy makeout with Ben Affleck in the town. But a dance with Baldoni? Suddenly a lawsuit appears? The timeline started raising serious questions. Baldoni and Lively's on-screen chemistry had been widely praised early in production. But right when buzz started building, the lawsuit dropped, turning what should have been a career milestone into a full-scale Hollywood disaster. Now, fans are piecing the puzzle together, and the picture doesn't look good for Reynolds. But then, out of nowhere, rumors started swirling that Baldoni was being difficult on set. By December 2024, Blake outright accused him of misconduct. Coincidence? Or was something bigger at play? Because let's be real, the dance scene was just the beginning. By February 2025, a new theory took over social media. Blake and Baldoni had developed a close friendship behind the scenes, one that apparently made Ryan Reynolds very uneasy. And then came the leaked messages. On February 8, 2025, the New York Times dropped private texts from Baldoni to Lively. One message, in particular, caught everyone's attention. "I know it's late, but I just wanted to say how incredible you were today. You made that scene come alive." It wasn't outright flirtatious, but it was intimate, enough to raise eyebrows. And guess who reportedly saw those texts? Ryan Reynolds. And he wasn't happy. On February 12th, 2025, a source close to the production told Variety. Ryan wasn't thrilled about how much Blake and Justin were talking. He wasn't controlling, but he definitely didn't love it. And just weeks later, Baldoni's career crumbled. By early January 2025, his talent agency dropped him. Podcast deals canceled. 2 major film projects gone. His entire Hollywood career collapsed in record time. And who came out on top? Blake Lively, and by default, Ryan Reynolds. Legal experts aren't ignoring the pattern. They've pointed out that Lively's lawsuit wasn't just about the film, it was about power. It was about reshaping Hollywood's hierarchy. And let's not forget Hollywood's golden rule. Studios don't care about morality, fairness, or truth. They care about money. And right now, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni are walking PR disasters. Because the second a Hollywood scandal starts costing studios money instead of making headlines, they cut ties. Fast. Wayfarer Studios has already washed its hands of Justin Baldoni, even though he helped build the company. They've erased his name from all upcoming projects, making it clear he's no longer part of their future. But Blake Lively isn't walking away unscathed either. Her production reputation is in ruins. Sony insiders have leaked that she completely overstepped her role on It Ends With Us.
Well, then all the internet sleuths went and dug up an old interview that she did on the Anna Faris podcast where she basically pokes fun at hitting her ex-boyfriend, which doesn't really make her a strong star witness after all. Which may possibly be why Blake's team is now asking for this extension, because what they were planning on bringing to the table has now fallen through. Now, that's all speculation and those are all people's theories, but it kind of sounds plausible. Regardless, whatever Blake Lively's doing, she's not ready to amend her lawsuit, and it doesn't seem like she has a strong case, because if she had a strong case, why would she need all of these extensions? And as far as what Baldoni's team is saying about all this, they had no objection to her needing an extension, but they did remind the judge, they're like, but just know that when we asked for an extension back in January, when the LA fires were going on and they served us during the fires, we asked for an extension and they did not grant us that. But whatever you want, Judge, we'll go with it. But if she gets an extension, then we want an additional extension for ourselves until April before we can respond to her amended complaint. But now I guess that's all been thrown out the window because she didn't get her extension. Or she did, but just for the weekend.
Making executive decisions without approval. And according to Variety on February 10th, 2025, Hollywood execs now see her as difficult to work with. And in this industry, that's a death sentence. Big-name producers are now hesitant to attach her to future projects. On February 19th, 2025, Deadline reported that Lively was in advanced talks for a major Netflix series. But just like that, the deal went silent. Hollywood has seen this play out before. After the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial, studios kept their distance for years, even though Depp won his case. The damage was already done, and his career never fully bounced back. Right now, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni are in that exact same position. It doesn't even matter who wins the lawsuit. The industry doesn't want the baggage. Because Hollywood has only one rule: money talks. Lively's next big test is her untitled 2025 crime drama. This film could determine her entire future. If it tanks at the box office, studios will drop her for good. If it miraculously succeeds, she might have a chance to crawl back. But as of right now, industry insiders are not optimistic. On February 25th, 2025, The Hollywood Reporter spelled it out. This isn't just about bad PR. This is about money. The industry is watching to see if audiences still care about Lively, or if her career has already flatlined. Because if the numbers don't add up, Hollywood will move on without her. As the lawsuit spiraled deeper into chaos, something strange started happening behind the scenes, something that made people do a double take. Blake Lively had formed an oddly close relationship with her much younger co-star, Isabella Ferreira. And the more details that surfaced, the worse it looked. Ferreira, just 23 years old, played the younger version of Lively's character in It Ends With Us. Meanwhile, Lively, at 37, a seasoned Hollywood veteran and a mother of 4, suddenly took an intense interest in her. Reports from December 2024 claim that Lively began inviting Ferreira over for sleepovers. Yes, sleepovers. She also showered her with expensive gifts, treating her less like a co-star and more like a little sister. And Hollywood insiders? They were watching closely. On February 10th, 2025, Variety published a piece that raised eyebrows, stating, Blake was incredibly close with Isabella, almost in a way that felt strategic. It wasn't just a mentor relationship, it was deeply personal. And that's when the power dynamic started being questioned. Critics quickly raised concerns that Lively wasn't just befriending Ferreira. She was pulling her into her inner circle for a reason. Was this genuine friendship? Or was Lively manipulating a younger, less experienced actress to have a loyal ally in her legal battle? The timing certainly made things suspicious. In January 2025, Ferreira publicly supported Lively's claims against Baldoni in an interview, saying, Blake was always there for me. She made me feel safe. But almost immediately, people started asking the real question. Was Ferreira actually speaking freely? Because let's face it, Blake Lively is a Hollywood veteran with decades of experience. Ferreira, a young actress still trying to build her career. And when you mix Hollywood power, a massive lawsuit, and a questionable friendship dynamic, it doesn't look good at all. Blake Lively held all the power, the ability to make or break careers. And for Isabella Ferreira, that wasn't just speculation, it was reality. Some fans began theorizing that Ferreira felt pressured to take Lively's side, fearing career consequences if she didn't. And honestly, they might not be wrong. On February 14th, 2025, Hollywood Insider reported, Blake's relationship with Isabella felt more like a strategy than a genuine friendship. She made sure Ferreira was in her corner. This whole big sister dynamic felt way too convenient. With Baldoni fighting back in court, Lively may have been securing Ferreira's loyalty, positioning her as an extra witness if the case escalated. And critics? They're convinced this was calculated from the start. A New York Post journalist wrote on February 17, 2025, if this case had gone to trial, Blake would have needed people on her side. Isabella's presence would have helped reinforce her claims. And now? People aren't buying the narrative anymore. Lively's questionable friendship with Ferreira has raised serious ethical concerns. Was this truly mentorship? Or was it a manipulative power move to strengthen her lawsuit? With Hollywood already distancing itself from her, these lingering questions only make her situation worse. And let's not forget, the future of this case is still hanging in the balance. So if you want to stay updated on every shocking twist and turn, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Because trust me, this story is far from over. See you on the next one.